There we go. Uh-huh. Anyway. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
And he's Captain Foley, and today we're talking about... Oh, wait, you didn't do the phone. Oh.
No, I didn't, because I didn't. Anyway, welcome back. It's Mandalorian Mondays. It is time
Yes!
to talk about Mandalorian Chapter 15.
The one without Grogu at all.
The Believer.
The Belieber?
That's fine, though.
Justin
It
Bieber in this one?
works.
What?
No,
I
that's
believe,
just
I
awful.
believe, I believe, I believe in a thing called Mandalorians.
All right.
Yes.
Never do that again.
Okay!
So we got our first super chat. Paul Graham, $5.
Paul!
Super chat like this. They work hard digging out the details, so you don't have to.
It's true. Like, did you even notice that this thumbnail is heavily photoshopped?
I did not.
So in the actual original shot, Boba Fett is actually up to the guy's like shoulder because he's standing further away and the camera's angled a certain way. But I was like, that looks absurd, so I made them about the same, at least much closer. But you can't tell because I did a good job. He was much higher in the frame.
Looks fantastic.
Well, it's such an obvious like ha 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 ha. He's got Although I wonder how much is actually the original, like the actual actor wearing this, and how much is his stunt guy. Because at a certain point, you know, the two leads of the show don't just be on set. Potentially. So
Dementia. $10. Ooh. Commander, can you imitate the seismic charge sound? I can't.
So you go away. You play a whale. Yes. That made me happy on the inside.
That was glorious to see. That's one of our favorite things.
Because it's spaceships, tech, and canon. All the things. And logic.
Yes.
I'll start sharing Stuart while you start chatting to the wonderful girls, guys, anything in between, and anything outside of that. Aliens, Mandalorians, because it's a creed, not necessarily, you know, a species.
Grogurians.
I mean, hey.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Hi, guys. Yeah, so super chats are a great way to help out the channel and get your comment read. We do read them all on air and talk about them. So if you want to have your thought talked about, or you have a question for us, or a question about the show, or something you noticed that we didn't, please by all means send a super chat. We will definitely read it. We do read a lot of the regular chats as well. And so if you can't super chat, feel free to just talk in the regular chat. We do pull out a lot of good comments from there as well. So, but like I said, super chat is a great way to support the channel, and even joining the channel, or joining it is a monthly way to help us out, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards for another way as well. Lots of great ways to support the channel and be part of the community. You can even send a PayPal. If you do send a PayPal, just let us know in the regular chat that you sent it, and then we'll read your comment or question via the PayPal email. So that's another way to do it as well, if you very much like to. So thank you to Brian and Paul for showing up. Awesome. Two great moderators there. So volume difference is a bit too big again. Well, what is wrong with the volume, Marvin? I think Samuel's is just off because he did a very loud noise into his microphone. It takes a while for it to adjust. So just wait for that to fix. Yeah. So, also the description of every video, there's links and things to do in there to get yourself some Trekyards merch and some other cool stuff. Save yourself some money. Save us some money, but support the channel via clicking the links down there. So lots of great ways to support. So if you can, please do, and hit that like button. That's the most important way. Well, one of the most important ways.
And here's me again. Hey.
Oh, he's back. Yay. Alrighty.
But I want to see 100 people, guys. Not that you can tell all your friends to join in, but I'm just saying I want to see at least 100 people. You know? As this is the even though there's only 8, this is the penultimate episode of season 2. Here we are already. Doesn't quite feel that way because it's such a continuing story. Just kind of feels like the next episode. But still, you know,
we did call like that he would paint his armor. That was the question we were asking last episode. Like, well, do you think he'll paint his armor? I think it'd be cool if he did. Yeah, and sure enough,
I think you weren't certain. Like you were kind of like, and I was like, yeah.
No, I said I thought I would love to see that. I think it'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's probably
I don't think I was sure that he would necessarily or have the time to do it, but it does look great. It's still scuffed up still. It's still not perfect.
Actually, it looks too freshly painted now. It's weird. It looks great, but like painted now. Like it doesn't look like metal so much anymore. It looks more like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, obviously it's not. It's clever, clever Mandalorian metal, etc. Yeah. Something that makes the red pop more though. But Stuart, what do you think of the penultimate season 2 episode of Mandalorian before we and they've said Mandalorian season 3 Christmas 2021. They've given us now a date for it to come back, which is pretty ambitious, but I mean they're not as ambitious a show as lots of other shows. And that's okay.
Well, season 2 was announced like really quick.
It was before.
I remember.
Yeah, it was right away.
No. It was right after COVID was. I'm like, oh shit. Well, we're not going to have any. Oh, by the way, Mandalorian's coming in a few months. It's like, what? Seriously?
Oh, that yeah. Yeah. We were thinking Discovery. Oh shit. Both.
Yeah. Yeah. So 57 people watching, which is great. Hit that like button, guys. We're only at 39 likes. We can do better.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get into my reactions first before we the super chats. I really like this episode. Every time I sit down to talk about Mandalorian, it's like I'm saying the same thing. This is a great episode that could be considered one of the best ones. This one had some really interesting dialogue. I love that Grogu wasn't in it actually. It was kind of
You don't realize until after.
Yeah. There's a lot of fighting on the back essentially on this one, but it works, and it was great to see a character coming back. I think Bill Burr does a fantastic job as Mayfield. Even his acting is really good when he's talking to his commander. Like there's some really good stuff here, and the fact that the Mandalorian has to kind of go against his creed, but it's to save basically his kid. Like he's grown attached to this little guy, and he'll do pretty much anything to find him. Yeah. Plus I think also he does realize that, this is the way is not necessarily this is the way all the time, because he's met the other Mandalorians who are not part of the extremists like he is.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how that's going to play into it. I think it'll be a thing eventually. But the thing here is, like, this was a fun episode, but now that he has his face has been scanned, I think that's going to come back to haunt him at some point. It's going to get out that he had his helmet off. Or something. I mean, pretty much everybody that saw his face is dead or dead. So it's not that bad, but.
And obviously, you say that's
no, it was a good episode.
And that entire scan sequence was a bit odd because it obviously wasn't scanning for any sort of recognizable face in the Imperial signature. Just saying,
no.
Are you a face? Yes. Moving on. Yes. It's probably a human face because we know
it's just like a security camera at like an ATM machine, just to see who's accessing. It doesn't match it with all the files or whatever.
Which you'd think it should, but I mean, why would there be a non-Imperial using a comm array in an Imperial base?
Exactly.
Like, why would there be? Because they shouldn't let them in. But we know Imperials aren't very good at security or locks or guns. Although there was a beautiful sequence where stormtroopers shot straight and clear and annihilated some running at them. So the other guys did crap, but they do perfectly aim. When they're not shooting our heroes, they're perfect. These are good.
Yeah, the only time they can't aim is when they when they're aiming for the heroes.
Which
That's the only time they miss.
Basically, we have to have several skirmishes in every episode to show them do good, and then show them do crap as well. Because they were like, really,
yes,
yes. But Stuart, you can read some super chats as well.
Yes, I will. Captain Chili Bina, $10. Mayfield was awesome. So many great lines. TPS reports. That's from the movie Office Space, which I laughed out loud. That was awesome. After he shoots former CO and several others, hands Mando his helmet and says, "You had to. They saw your face." It's not what he says though. He says you did what you had to do by taking the helmet off. I didn't see your face. I didn't see you. It's not at all what he says, Captain Chilivina. Eugene, 300 rubles. Such a sweet and sour episode. Awesome acting and execution, but alien design and mentioning of Operation Cinder cause a bad case of sequelitis. No, they don't. I think it was perfect. I really liked that he was facing his PTSD, his former commander, the thing that, the one thing that really is therapy for him. He even mentions that later. That wasn't part of the plan, but, you have to do what you got to do. So I think it was great. So I didn't mind. I didn't have a problem with Operation Cinder or any of that. I thought that was fantastically done. Dementia, $5. The Believer refers to like 4 different things. 99% sure at least one is a reference to a Monkey song. Hey, hey, I'm the Believer. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the Believer references to for this episode. Just Mayfield somehow. But anyway, Andrew Sepp, $2. Cranked up system when the seismic charge dropped. Yeah, that's the best. One of the best sounds ever in Star Wars. That's yeah, it's fantastic. So there we go. We're caught up on the super chats now. Thank you guys.
We need them.
So what do you think, Samuel?
That was the second best one of the season. I mean, easily. This one is definitely more what I want to see in Mandalorian, although it again shows how the main character is very much that bland. You need that secondary to sing. You need that second character to take on a lot of the heavy duty. And Bill was absolutely fantastic. It starts out not as strong, but by the time you actually get into the base and you see something we don't normally see from the perspective of the Imperials, every scene in that base is really interesting. And whereas a lot of the other episodes are bland in that we don't care about the stuff, it's just mindless action. This is not mindless action. There's a lot of mind. The locations look great. The sets look great. The ideas are great. This feels like a true season 1, and money went into this. For the first time I've really felt since episode 1. Even though I know obviously this jungle planet is the CGI thing, but it looked good. Seeing the transports from from Revenge of the Sith looked great. It was a long sequence with not as much thought put in, but it was a nice. It wasn't a whole episode. Bill has an incredible acting, which really saves it, and that sit down with the Imperial guy made the episode a really strong episode because just that one scene, the helmet bit was great, unexpected and powerful, and then Slave One kicking butt in all the best ways was good. So it was definitely the second best. Oh, and seeing Slave One finally from the inside as it changed its orientation. Yeah. I've never seen that, and it was real satisfying.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize we hadn't seen Grogu until after, which shows you how unimportant that character is. It's just the MacGuffin to get us through. It doesn't matter to the plot, really. Even though it is the plot, it does not matter. So yeah, easily the second best one by an absolute mile, and it shows how sort of dull Ahsoka was in the grand scheme. Like, you need stronger characters to help balance out Mando. But this had a lot of good ideas, and they were well thought out for the most part, which is unlike a lot of the other, even though it was just another, like a 4th in a row, Imperial base attack. Almost in a row, it wasn't, because it was a stealth mission and they escaped via a exterior thing, and that was great. It wasn't just running through a corridor shooting, which is dull. It was actually interesting. They felt more expensive. It was easily the second best one, and I wish this season was more like this, because it makes someone look worse. It's like, well, where's the money going? Where's the creativity going? They're fine, but this uses it all really well. Yeah, although it is still odd to see Boba Fett. He's not taking orders per se, but he's so passive. And it was like, we need to go here. All right. It's like...
one of the best things in this one was, I think they'll recognize my face.
Yeah, that was...
It's like, yeah, no shit.
I mean, most people here serve... Like, that old guy served in the Clone Wars. I mean, they've served as... most people here that are still alive served, so... Although I think they probably could have cut out and should have cut out most of the vehicle chase, because it was definitely too long. It was definitely just action for the sake of action, and there's a lack of logic there, because obviously if they're attacking the convoy, you'd send TIE fighters out straight away, but they allowed 4 convoys to get destroyed, then didn't send back up. What do you expect? This is the rich material. They're doing a shit job protecting it, and then who are these people? Why are they attacking?
The the TIE fighters attack right at
The gate.
right as soon as they get to the gate. Yeah, and who they are. I mean, that goes to the one line where Bill Burr says, you know, it's the New Republic or the Empire. It doesn't matter to these people. We're just, you know, trespassers on their land. So.
Reese's got a bad face stuck out.
It was a bad face. Anyway, I was saying, yeah, that he said that after when they went through that little town, and the people that were attacking did not look anything like that. So they're just called out as pirates.
But they came out of nowhere, meant nothing, did nothing. It's weird.
Yeah, it was a little long for sure. That's one of my biggest gripes about this episode too. Although I do like that the Mandalorian is fighting in stormtrooper armor and kind of forgot because he gets whacked in the shoulder and then the arm, and it's like, oh yeah, if you were wearing your Beskar, you would have been fine. Well, but the fact that he's got the skill to fight is good.
Well, that's the thing. The concept of it all is much cleverer. It isn't just a bulletproof armor guy fighting aliens without weapons. Like, that's dull. That was interesting. It's just TIE fighters should be there instantly. You know, they should have done something, and there shouldn't have been so many convoys destroyed. Like, it just shows the Imperials looking dumb, and they were well presented this week. And also, if it would have made more sense, because we also went by a little encampment of people. Like, if these raiders want to get people off their land, why didn't they just bomb the encampment of people? Like, that should have been a burning rubble, like dead bodies everywhere. They go through it and say, what happened? It's the natives, and then they get bombed. Like, to show happy people who aren't the natives with these natives that we don't know anything about. Like, there's a disconnect there. Like, I don't know what they were thinking exactly, because it doesn't work. Like, don't think about it, it's fine. Like, I was expecting to be humans, or New Republic. That would have made more sense, rather than being generic new aliens. You know, it's weird. But at least Stormtrooper was shot straight, and the base was good. You know, it's just that one sequence should have been either 5 minutes shorter, or more thought out. But there's a good concept, just either shorter or more to it that's interesting. But everything else was height of this season for sure.
Yeah. Captain Chili Beana, $5.
Yeah.
I don't do subtitles, my bad. Would have been funny how I heard it, though. My only gripe, this episode was too short again. Yes. And even next episode is going to be too short, because they say it's 44 minutes, apparently. So it's going to be a cliffhanger, guaranteed, because there's no way they can wrap this up in one episode. Unfortunately. But that's good, though. I mean, I say unfortunately, but as much as I hate cliffhangers, I also love them if they're done well. And it's going to be a cliffhanger of a Jedi coming in, or Thrawn, or somebody. It's going to be a big reveal, and it's going to tide us over for a year until we get to season 3. So,
I mean, we can hope that they'll add 10 minutes each episode and give them a bit more money. You know, especially as Disney needs all the shows. You know.
We said that was season 1 when we were watching season 1 too. Like, just make the episodes longer. And you know, there's 1 or 2 episodes this season which were a good enough length, but the rest have been just too short.
It's just the first one, really. I think they made the first one special to get people back in. Honestly, I think they made that like being like, "Ooh, look, we're back," and then we're gonna lower the bar a bit. And also, probably the guest stars cost more this year because they had more of them, and so just the budget per episode. If you're taking a good chunk each episode, and I'm sure Mandalorian himself charged more, even though his own or should I say, his stuntman charged more to wear the suit this year. You know. But oh yeah, second best. And I wish they were all like this. You know, more creative environment, more creative use of storytelling, more creative whatever. And you know, I really liked seeing the Empire. You know, have them get clapped and then be like, ha ha, that's great. You've never seen that pretty much. It's a really nice. I know you've played Squadron, so you've actually lived a bit where you've been Imperial. You've seen that perspective, but it's so rare in games and such.
Yeah, it was funny you mentioned that because I've been playing Squadrons all day today, since we were finished filming, because they just released a new update, so you can fly B-wings now and the TIE Enforcer. So the new ships, new weapons. So I was trying that out today. So that's funny that you mentioned that. The only other issue I have with the TIE Fighter thing, not only was it too late. I mean, they could have been. Chances are they were coming from a different part of a different base somewhere nearby, because there's no like staging area for TIE fighters at that base, because actually there's a shot of the base from the front where it's all just rubble. There's no gun turrets where they look for gun turrets later. It's kind of a mistake, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But when they blast them and then they fly up, and then there's Cara Dune and the other lady, and they fly like right by them. Like you'd see them standing there with their big
Yeah.
guns.
Well,
That was a little bit of a.
although also, but it is a satisfying moment though, being like, oh, we just cheered for TIE fighters.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was great.
That's what I mean. Like that is clever, and it should have done more of
Yeah.
that throughout the whole season. And then you know it was good to definitely see him without his helmet on because he actually got to act. He's not saying anything still, but he got a lot more presence just from that one scene, and we know how difficult that was the first season. Like you just know going in to that scene, like this is like suicide level. Oh, I hate this every second. And it's like you feel tense because you're like everything in everything in his body is saying I hate this. This is the worst thing ever. Because Bill's seen his face, and that's like not allowed. His honor is forever destroyed. That's it. And multiple people saw his face. It's like you can never come back from that. Really, it's like once you have your first drink, you're just like, well, I've drunk now. I can't ever go back to being no drinker.
But then they're all dead, so it's fine.
Yes, dead. I guess Bill is Bill, but I guess he was. I was expecting them to take him with them. A, because he's useful in Imperial, like he'll be able to help them on the ship. You would think because he's got Imperial knowledge, which would make way more sense. But also, why would he want to live on this nothing planet with, pirates that bomb things and civilians that are mud hut people?
He's not going to live there. He's going to find a way to get off. But she couldn't legally say, "Yeah, come with us." I like the way they did it. Where, I think Mayfield died. It's a shame he died back there. And then poor Mayfield's like, I saw the Mando's face. Am I going to get shot in the back as I walk away?
Think that. They're like, it does sound the same. It's like, yeah, you run because you died. See, he died. But there's no necessary reason to think they have spaceships on that planet to get off because especially if you're not.
Well, every planet in Star Wars does. That's the thing.
Although he has no money, so how would he get enough money to book passage off planet? I mean, it wasn't as straightforward as that. Like, I think it's more the case of he's got a fresh start. A fresh start on a planet which is nice and green is better than a Republic prison. But he may not get off that planet for years. But that's okay. He's alive. And to be fair, the longer he's not part of the galactic, population, the less chance they'll think to look for him. Because if he ended up on Nar Shaddaa and it's like, well, he's dead. I mean, I guess he's not dead then. Go find him. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Should have killed him. Bird did kill Anakin's voiceover artist. Yes. Let's see. All right, cool. So guys, hit like. We have 112 people watching with 59 likes. We can do better than that. We can get up to at least 80. So hit that like button if you haven't. We'll try to hit 100, but we'll ask for 80 right now. So, yeah. All right, guys. So let's get into it. And I'm wondering actually if I wonder if Bill Burr is going to be back for the last episode, which would be kind of odd. But I saw a picture of him and Cara Dune on a sandy, sunny planet, which could be this first scene in the junk heap, but it was way too sunny and nice and bright, and it looked like Tatooine almost. So I don't know if, and so it was a publicity photo, so I don't know what that was about, but
could be a season 3 tease.
Could be. I
mean, definitely sense to bring him in season 3, but we do start at this rather nice looking grunge heap. Although the amount of Imperial stuff, you definitely left thinking it's an Imperial yard, and even the droid looks like an Imperial droid, just because droids are mostly Imperial. But it's like, no, it's New Republic, even though he's like slave labor. So it's like, well, it's punishment. It's just not a very happy scene. And you realize, the New Republic also has shitty jobs that make people really hate their lives, etc.
Yeah.
But I like the robot. I like the scene. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of wrecked TIE fighters for sure. And those big cranes again. The Walker cranes are really cool.
Makes sense. Use them.
Yeah, she basically comes and picks them up, and you got to go with her. And she's like, what's going on? I thought that was really well done. So just a common courtesy to tell somebody where you're taking them.
But the robot refuses many times.
Like, yeah. So so his bracelet gets released. He's told to go with her, and then he sees Boba Fett, and he's like, "Oh, okay. I thought you were somebody else." And then the Mandalorian walks down the ramp. I thought that was awesome.
Although
And I gotta say,
Yep.
oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I'm gonna say Boba Fett's new look with the black underneath instead of the gray works. I think it looks really good, especially with the darker paint, like the new paint job. It's a definite new look. It's a new toy they can sell for sure. So
revived Boba.
Yeah.
And it is very refreshing to fly in Slave One. It's a very good looking ship in a weird way. It's one of the most creative ships in all of Star Wars. For sure. Although this was weird because this guy would know who Boba Fett was. So the fact he doesn't recognize him, straight like a sore thumb. He was the most famous bounty hunter in the galaxy 6 years ago.
He's been dead for years.
But he would but so what? I mean, the armor is what defines him. So that felt completely unreasonable to me. You know, he was an Imperial. He would then after that was a mercenary. That felt absurd to me.
I don't think a lot of people would recognize Boba Fett personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, because he's famous for a reason, you know. Plus, if people knew who he was, if he was also an Imperial, he's old enough to have been around during the Clone Wars, so he may have heard that the clones, like I'm sure he saw a clone's face, which means he'd know what the guy sounds like and looks like, and then he may have heard that those are clones of Jango Fett, and remember, billions of clones. If he was even 20 serving in any ship, he would have clones, and he would have seen their faces because they take their helmets off. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's that sort of universe where it's like, what's the Force? Well, your dad fought with Jedi. What do you mean? So it just felt a bit odd to me because it would have been nice if him say, Boba Fett, or at least not Mandalorian. Like that would have been a much more powerful moment if it had been both. And it would have been kind of funny if you recognised this other lady. Like all the bounty was like, everyone I hate is here. This is why what? Yeah, I think it would have been much more powerful and much more realistic. Yeah.
But they need him because he was an Imperial and he still knows all his security protocols and stuff. So, and he thinks twice about leaving. I guess not sure if he's going to come back from this, but better than the alternative. Better to go doing something interesting than living out your life here because he had a 50-year sentence at least. So, yeah, and then the rotating inside Slave One was really cool. It was good to see that.
Before. And you realize how small the ship is. Because there's it's just got two. It's got his sleeping bit, the cockpit bit, the ramp bit. Like I've never really obviously we've done scale charts. It is tiny, but yeah, that's the middle bit. It's actually really small. No, that's cool.
Now the thing that's never explained here. He says we need Moff Gideon's coordinates, and he uses the data stick and all that in an Imperial. Imperial whatever they needed, the inside terminal, but he puts it in and he finds the ship. So do they have the coordinates of the ship, or they find a way to track the ship? Because somebody mentioned that in my first action review. Well, now that Moff Gideon knows that they're coming, just change your location. But I think they're not only tracking the ship, but even if they're going to see this doctor specifically, so he is going to somewhere that he has to go to. So
I didn't even consider
sure
that.
how that works.
But we know they can't track in hyperspace yet until Last Jedi. So you can't track ships because otherwise that devalues all of that. You can track ships like where they may be, where they may go, but as soon as you go into light speed you lose them. And if they hyperspace to another system, you won't just be able to detect them in another system. So yeah, as soon as Gideon hyperspace is away, they won't know where they are. End of story. But also, why would Gideon, who's clearly doing secret shit, why would he register his location publicly on a public news net for a project that has nothing to do with him? Because that's just an Imperial base. It's not his base. It's just a base.
And there's no explanation to whether it's just tracking the ship information, if there's some kind of logs that show where he is. It's not clarified how they find out his location. So, not a big deal, I guess. But
I mean, classic Star Wars, don't care, move on. We can track him. How? Shut up. But I haven't thought about that. Yeah, that's true.
Scott Purdy, 2 pounds.
Dang.
In Star Wars, people have a bad memory, i.e. Jedi and Boba, etc.
Yep.
It's a big galaxy.
And also drugs. Everyone's on drugs to deal with the shit.
Hmm. Anyway, he asked what's in it for him, and she says, well, maybe a better view. But they need an internal Imperial terminal, and he says there's one on Morak. But there's nothing on Morak.
What
Except
do
for
you
a
mean?
secret Imperial mining hub.
Yeah, apart from that. What does she mean by a better view? I didn't quite get that.
Move him to a different location so he doesn't have to be doing scrap welding or whatever all day.
I'd ask more clarity.
Move him from a prison cell to like blue collar kind of prison.
Yeah, I would have asked for more clarity if I was him. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I get a more solid guarantee. Also, just noticed that Boba has a new emblem on his chest, like a
It's always been there.
Yeah. Oh, weird. But no, it's good. Like I said, I find it odd that Mandalorian's like, Boba, who is the most feared bounty in the galaxy, go here, please. All right. It's like, give him some. Like Boba has very little impact this week. He has like he's shown as skillful, but also doesn't care about. He's just there for the ride. It's weird. It's a weird balance. Like he's not a character really yet.
Yeah.
But Slave One looks absolutely incredible. The model they did was beautiful here. It's real nice.
Yeah. And then we get Boba did an initial scan of the planet and found what they were talking about, the refinery.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that they're refining rhodinium, which is highly volatile and explosive.
Oh, most things are if you watch Rogue One, etc.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, Solo.
Oh yes, the train heist. I think that's the same stuff, isn't it?
I don't think so. That's fuel. This isn't fuel, I don't think.
Yeah. No. Because it's not refined yet. This is just the raw stuff. I don't know. Who cares? Let us know in the chat. What was the heist in Solo for? Let's see. So yeah, we got a nice shot of Slave One approaching the planet and flying over the scenery, which is great. You see the contrails coming off the little wing things. It's a nice shot for sure.
And it already feels more high budget than other episodes. Mike's also is more green. But this episode already feels more expensive than previous episodes. It's weird. To me, anyway.
Coaxium
Yes.
is what's going on. So yeah.
Yeah. And look how cool this shot is, them looking out upon a CGI landscape. It's great. Like, just feels bigger, you know? Feels cooler.
Yeah.
Feels more interesting. And now we've got a team. He doesn't have to say anything. That's the funny thing. Now you've got a team. The entire team can have this fun interaction. Although, except Sniper didn't do anything, really. Or say anything. But she's not there. She's not there to talk either. None of them are. Which is weird. Except Bill. It's like none of these are talking characters. They're all moody characters. It's funny.
Yeah. We find out that they're going to have to decide who's going in, but everybody that goes in, because these remnant bases are run by ex-Imperial soldiers, basically.
It's good to hear remnant as well. That's a big canon word, or side canon, I should say.
If you get scanned and your genetic signature shows up on any New Republic register, you're going to be detected.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody basically can't go in.
Everyone's wanted in one way or another.
Yeah. And I love Fett. Let's just say they might recognize my face. Yeah. It's so great.
It's true. He's one of the most famous faces in the galaxy. Yup. Well, you would think Bill's face would also be flagged as an ex-officer. I'm surprised he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, when he removed his helmet, no one questions, because stormtroopers don't remove their helmets ever. So why did he get away with that?
Because they were just attacked, and
Yeah.
Rough day.
There's a few kind of contrivances, but that's every episode, so
Anyway, so Mando says he's going to be going, but you're not going to be seeing my face. Don't worry about it. So, good plan.
And it's a good strong moment of we're actually doing something interesting here. We're having to go around, having to think outside the box and yet stay in this different box. And instantly you're like, okay. And then seeing the rover, it's from Revenge of the Sith, same design. I think it's slightly tweaked, but same thing. Nice. Use the cannon.
Dementia, $5.
Thanks.
There's 20,000 Fett faces and 1 million more well on the way.
Yep.
Anyway, they get on board. They knock out the drivers, and then I love it. It's like this itself is worth the price of admission. Seeing the Mandalorian. Oh, I gotta say first before that, this guy stinks. His gloves are still wet. Like, ooh, ew. Okay, I'm done. I'm not doing the mission at this point.
Yeah, they're fun with
But anyway,
And then Mando hands Kara like 1 billion credits worth of best car. It's like,
mm-hmm.
that's trust. That's everything he is, you know? That is like the top possible thing you can do apart from give someone Baby Yoda. Boy. You know? Seriously.
Yeah. Anyway, so they get the thing rolling again, and it's asking about, how's it feel, huh? How's this feel in the new armor kind of thing? And then he goes, I'm taking this thing off. I can't see anything, which is like the trope when everybody wears a stormtrooper helmet. Can't see anything.
Yeah. Well, I like it's a different armor type. It's not just a classic. It's
cool armor.
I believe it was used in another one, or it's designed for another one, but it's good. It's a good variant. It's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice helmet for sure. I do like the look of it. Yeah. So anyway, they're having a nice little discussion. Feels better with it off, kind of thing.
Well, the discussion might be pushing it. Bill's talking to him, at him.
Yeah, that's
Let's
true.
not say conversation.
And then they see the ruins of other transports on the side of the road.
It's a good setup. That was well done. That was a nice little
Yeah. So then they pass through the little town, and you see the little people, the people looking at them, and it's like you're wearing the armor of somebody that people hate, and they're looking at you through the window, like shitty situation. But then Bill Burr says, "Yeah, Empire, New Republic, it's all the same to these people. Invaders on their land is all we are," and it's it's an interesting way to look at it because they're tangled up in this whether they want to be or not. And they're just, doesn't matter who it is.
And it's amazing how this one thing works better than Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Like this one conversation about them being out of the war and who care, like they don't care, was better than what Rian Johnson did with the whole they're just here to earn money. Like it's okay, but this simple scene worked better. Although I was surprised by when they go by the kid, he didn't have the sense of hatred that you would expect. It was more of a
just a resigned indifference because you can't do anything about it. You're just sitting there, which is fine.
Which does imply they don't actually know what's happening in the Galactic Empire. Like, the Empire's not massacring them because they don't need to. And they don't know about the galaxy because they don't need to. If they're just here doing their own thing. I mean, who's to say of space travel? I mean, they've just got huts. I mean, there's nothing that indicates that at all. They don't know, But then, like you said, they said these were indigenous, or at least it's their land. So who are the aliens?
Just another tribe on the planet.
Okay.
138 viewers, 84 likes. Can we get to 100? Yes, we can. So hit that like button, guys.
Yes, we should. And this was another beautiful. This looks great. This already feels more budget. In half the episode than we had. Where's the money been on other episodes, Stuart? This is great.
Yeah. Bill says though, if you were born on Mandalore, you believe one thing. If born on Alderaan, you believe something else. But guess what? Neither one of them exists anymore. So is Mandalore destroyed or is Mandalore just occupied? Because the way he says that and says it with Alderaan, I'm like, okay, did Mandalore get destroyed? I don't know.
Not blown up, but the planet got bombed, etc.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I understand what I mean, but obviously it's as close to annihilated as possible. But it's a great dialogue, and the fact that he is able to hold all of these scenes by himself for the most part, is impressive. And he wasn't this good in season 1. They changed his character a bit, but obviously he's had time to dwell on being a prisoner. But he absolutely saves this episode. He gives it that real fire that the first episode had, that Ahsoka didn't give, that I don't remember the other ones. None of them quite gave it what he's giving it. Doing a good job.
Yeah. And his acting is awesome in this episode, especially when he's talking to the officer, and you can just see the hate and the build up in his eyes. And Mandela's like, "No, don't do it."
Wait, it's multi-leveled though. It's all of them. Yeah. It's a really he's remembering. He's feeling it. He's not acting it. He's living it. And considering he's a comedian, he's not an actor. Obviously, you can be both. But he shows a real. I mean, he's just playing a Bill Burr, obviously. But I mean, he's elevating this material. And it's just two guys in a cockpit, but this again has a certain scope to it that others just don't have. But then the problems start to happen.
Well, almost.
The
First he
problems do not
says.
happen, Stuart. They don't happen yet.
First he compares the two of them, and Mandalorian says, "I'm nothing like you."
And that's what
He
forced him to
said,
talk, yeah.
"Yeah, you said you couldn't take your helmet off. Now you got a stormtrooper going on. What's the rule? Is it you can't take your helmet off, or you can't show your face? Because those are two very
Yep.
different things." I'm just saying, we're all the same. There's these lines we don't cross until things get messy.
Yep.
And then, as far as I love how he says this, as far as I'm concerned, if you can make it through your day and still sleep at night, you're doing better than most people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to put it. And if you can live with what you've done, but yeah. But yeah, things get messy. There's an explosion. The transport ahead of them gets destroyed, and I love how the guy on the woman on the radio is like, maintain speed and course, proceed with caution, and he's like, are you serious? Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, this is when as soon as no one comes to rescue them, the plot takes a dive of like, okay, first one gone, send out TIE fighters. Now I could buy that there aren't pilots ready to go, but at the same token, if this is the most important stuff they need, there'll be pilots ready to go. And the base was very well populated. They had people to spare. And why is that?
Well, you say that, but you see some of the stormtrooper armor was dirty. Like this seems like a ragtag outpost with just a handful of people. It doesn't.
Very full ragtag group. Stuart's face again, great.
A very full ragtag group. What?
Well, the hangar they go into is full of people, and outside is full of people. I mean, it's not a very big base, but they don't.
It's full of people until it's not, because they shoot the people in the mess hall, and the other room that they were just in is empty then, because everybody else is milled out to do their thing and do their jobs. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on really. Everybody was there to see this transport come in, and then they all went back to their assignments.
I can see both points of view, but it does seem weird that they don't obviously value the stuff really, because there's not a single guard trooper. These vehicles are big. Like they should have had 4 or 5. All they need was 4 or 5 stormtroopers on each one. They could have shot the baddies coming up to them. I guess obviously they have the blowy uppy materials, but it feels like they don't really care about these mining materials. Like, who cares? We'll just get another set. It's weird how dismissive they are. If this is the stuff that will get them back into the war, I wish there was more consistency there. Yeah.
Well, Herbster Magus puts in $2.
Hey.
Remember to tip your Trekyards, everybody. Woo! Good to see you, Herbster. Thank you very much.
You are awesome.
Yeah. So here we get the pirates, and Mando's like, "I'll take care of it," and he starts shooting his gun back there, and he's like, "Seriously, you're shooting around this stuff?" But then gets on the top, and yeah, this is a very long, drawn-out fight. There's some really great.
It's good though. It's just long.
Yes, there's some really great stuff, especially when he gets hit. It's like, oh shit, I forgot I wasn't wearing my own armor.
And we know Stormtrooper armor isn't worth a shit. Literally, a rock can beat it. It's worth nothing. Literally,
yeah.
Stormtrooper. I mean, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, but some good moments with the thermal detonators. Even him tossing the one, and you think it's over, and then all of a sudden there's like 4 more guys behind him. It's like, how does that happen? Like, seriously.
Doesn't matter. I don't think about it.
But I do think about these things.
Mandalorian used to be cleverer. But what's great, these effect shots are really seamless. Like, this is not a guy on a vehicle. These are not guys on vehicles chasing them. Seamless. It's super impressive, and again, it makes the whole thing feel more budgety. This is a feature film level effect stunt. It's really well handled visually, just not enough stuff wise.
Is there some foreshadowing here? Because he throws a spear at the one guy. Could that be a lead up to the Beskar spear at some point? Because you see his,
he can do it.
He's accurate. Sure. He's accurate with it. So
sure, why not? Yeah.
It was just interesting to see that, and knowing he has the Beskar spear as well. So.
Sure. And I like the whole, speed, can't go too fast, it'll blow up. Again, good concepts, just a bit long and not enough thought put in. Like, who are they? Doesn't matter. And the fact they leave 2 guys behind after thermal detonators going means they're willing to commit suicide to destroy them, be full-on terrorists. But what are they
It
fighting
almost,
for? Their own land, but they're not like. There's a.
yeah. Well, it almost feels like they're rebels, almost like part of the
I
Rebel
wish they had
Alliance,
been.
just trying to
I wish they
trying to
had been.
stop the Empire. That would have been awful though, killing rebel or resistance guys when you're basically on the same side as them.
Mm.
It would have been interesting if they trying to
Yeah,
keep them alive instead of chucking bombs at them and stuff.
yeah.
I think that would have been more interesting, actually. Yeah.
But then the
Um,
secret base wouldn't have worked so well. And obviously,
uh,
why wouldn't there be their X-wings flying, etc. So it had to be just generic who cares people. But the makeup, the design of the aliens, cool. I wish the show cared more about them. Like they have speeders, they have more technology than the people on the planet, clearly, because that's
yeah.
basically spaceship technology. And then they get to the base and they get wiped out instantly, and it's a very satisfying moment because they've been sucky a bit. But also the way they play it, like now there's 5 of us and we've all detonated, and they'll turn them on, even though that's the fuse. Is played for laughs. It's like a
Yeah.
we're the villains. Oh no! It looks beautiful, but it's definitely played for stupidness. But thank goodness these TIE fighters can finally hit successfully. As do the many stormtroopers that come out. They massacre the spear wielders that don't bother firing their spears. They're the worst of stormtroopers. They don't even try and shoot back. But no, the stormtroopers massacre them very effectively. It's a good little moment of like, hey, first time in several years. And they're like,
Then
hey
you get
guys, woo!
Yeah. Then you get the flyby of they fly right by the girls,
Uh-huh.
which I guess you can see them overlooking them because they got other things going on, but it just seems like an odd moment to me. Not a big deal. And then everybody's saluting them as they come in, like, this Imperial officer went above and beyond what every other Imperial officer does because they're all morons and
Yeah, he actually lived.
can't fight for shit.
Yeah,
But
that's
them all
it.
saluting was great. It was a great moment, actually.
And we need more of these sorts of things because it's really fun to see.
And if you go back for a second to where he's getting back into the truck, you can see the top of the complex, and there's no guns, there's no soldiers. It's just a dilapidated old building. And they pull into that room, and then literally the mess hall's right there on the right-hand side. So it's a little bit of a disconnect as far as like they should have put a gun turret on that corner, it's 1 or 2 soldiers up top, just to make it feel more cohesive. Not that a lot of people notice that, I don't think, but
yeah, yeah, I can see
I
that.
don't know. It's just worth pointing out.
Again, you can see the ill effect in places of the show creep in as they go. But
I love the whole. Oh, sorry, I love the whole. You never thought you'd be happy to see stormtroopers.
It's just a great concept. There's loads of people. It's well executed. It feels expensive. The armor looks great. Doesn't feel like a fan film. This one of those things. I don't mind them going to obviously a standing set of a refinery thing, or it's just still it might be the CGI room still. It looked a bit too good for that. And then you get this weird moment when he's going to go in to the officer's mess and get the transceiver thing. And I'm thinking, he's only a trooper. Why would a trooper be allowed in an officer's mess?
It's not an officer's mess. It's just a mess. It's like the only one they have.
Okay, because the way they play it feels like he shouldn't be there. Like, you only see
Oh, no.
officers, the tension is there. Like, it definitely doesn't scream as like, I can just walk in there. It feels like, oh, I'm going to get caught.
Well,
It's a bit
you
weird.
only see officers until you don't, until the guy gets shot, and then there's the poor guy with his trailer. I just want my goddamn lunch. Please don't shoot me. Oh shit. It's such a small facility. This is the only mess hall.
But it's definitely a flaw in editing, though, because the Imperials are such that they would have their own mess and say, "F it, you guys are."
You'd think so, yeah.
So a little bit of a flaw there as well, but I mean,
a little bit suspicious too to see the guy come in, look at you, turn around, and then go and talk to somebody else. It's like, just go. If he notices you, he notices you. But anyway, because he can't go in there because it's Valen Hess who used to work under. And he used to be a field operative. He's not taking the chance. He goes, look, we need to get this information, otherwise the kid's gone. I'll never be able to see him again. Well, the problem is it needs to scan a face. Just give me the thing.
And you do think he's going to make him do it. That classic, we've got to do it. But the fact that he takes charge and doesn't really think twice and does just go in, knowing that's what it means, says a lot about his growth. And these are the sort of character moments that he's been missing the entire season. Like, this is a real moment. He has several real moments this week. But it's nice that he keeps shaving every day, even with his ship destroyed, and you know his armor, or maybe his armor pre shaves his face, because he has a nice non-beard, and we know exactly
He's
how
got
long it takes to grow beards and such.
he's got the mustache. Like, why do you have a mustache if you're never showing it off to anybody? And his nice hair. He never has helmet head. If I wear a hat, if I wear a helmet for literally 5 minutes, take it off, and my hair's like all flat and looks like shit. His looks good. It looks like it doesn't look styled, but doesn't look like he's wearing a helmet. Just saying.
But it's a good moment. It's a good scene. It's a bit too easy. Like there's no security of any kind. Doesn't need an imperial check. It is not classified. And given this is a moth on a secret assignment or some sort of special dark trooper and dark saber, the fact that he's just public, he's Googleable is stupid. It's blatantly absurd. Because that's all this is. Like, if I was Moff Gideon, I wouldn't give my coordinates to the public server. So it is stupid and it's poorly thought out. I kind of hope that next week when they hyperspace in, it's a trap, because of course he put the wrong coordinates. That would be a good payoff. That was my phantom coordinates. But it is stupid, and when you start thinking about it again, it does break down once again. But whatever.
Anyway, he gets called out. Hey, trooper, what's your designation? Transport crew. My designation is transport co-pilot. No, son, your TK number. Like, this guy's creepy as hell. I do not like this officer. But yeah, then the other guy comes in. He's my commanding officer, TK 593, sir. I'm Imperial Combat Assault Transport Lieutenant TK 111. But then, it says he got to speak up, because ever since his vessel lost pressure in Taneb. What? He's playing stupid. I love it. It's great.
It's really good acting, and I really appreciate. And the fact that he doesn't freak out, even though clearly this is like, he's seeing my face. It's a very well played. You can feel all the subtext without having to put it in your face, which is exactly how it should be. It's a very well balanced scene.
But they call him Brown Eyes. Isn't that right, officer? Let's go fill out those TPS reports, which is hilarious, by the way, so we can go recharge the power coils. And then it's the whole, you're not dismissed. It's like, oh, shit. So you guys were the ones that survived and brought the rubidium in? No one else did? Wow. You're heroes. Let's go have a drink.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
So you're telling me you're the guy that survived when we didn't bother sending reinforcements? You guys are good. You're not stormtroopers, are you? What? You're too good.
Yeah, you're damn right they're too good.
You live more than one battle. Amazing. That's good. And we cut to another. Clearly, the green screeny set thing. They're not really on a forest, but the lighting's not quite right, but they look so good as well. Yeah. And they're both snipers. But not competing. I like the balance here. It's like they're both talented in very different ways. Although I am starting to get a little bit annoyed at the rifles are just clearly modern rifles kit bashed. I know that's what they always were, but there's only so many guns, and these do feel like just, airsoft rifles that have been modernized a bit or alienized a bit. A little bit.
Yeah. I love how one of them is like, I'll take out the turret, you take out the soldiers. And what's taking them so long? And then we get the whole thing about, let's have a toast. Where are you from, Brown Eyes?
And easily best scene in the episode, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Then Mayfield speaks up. So how about a toast to Operation Cinder? Well, here's a man who knows his history. It's so well done, and just the tension is there. Like, what is going to happen? Mandalorian looks very uneasy because doesn't have his helmet on. He's out of his element, 100%. And you just see as they're talking about what happened with this city, like the whole city, 5,000 to 10,000 people just gone. You can just see the buildup with Bill Burr, like in his eyes. At one point, his eyes are like watering. And he goes, "Was it a good day for everybody? All my friends that died. Wasn't it good for everybody?" He's like, "Well, we survived. We're good." And it's just, it's fantastic. And then when he actually pulls out his blaster and shoots the guy, I was same as Mandalorian. I'm like, oh shit. Because I still thought the other room was full of troopers. But in a second, you see there's it's pretty much cleared out. People have all shuffled off to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
But the poor guy standing there with the tray, like,
This doesn't
It's
happen
funny.
often. I mean,
Yeah.
officers can kill troopers, but the other way around, is that okay? No. No, it's probably maybe the best scene of the season so far in terms of like quality
Yeah.
of writing, of acting, of content, of Star Warsness. It wasn't wasted. It gives you context. Yeah, probably the best episode scene of the season, and it's just three guys around a room, around a table.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't even realize, but I just googled it while you were talking. That is actually the operation from Battlefront games. So it's actually
Mm.
a canon thing that you and obviously I played their games, so I saw it in action. You know, it was the Emperor.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I was just destroying things.
Traumatized. I
Yeah.
think the escape though is a little too easy. Like the fact that the mess hall is just literally has shutters to go outside. I thought that was convenient and yet awesome at the same time because it makes the escape so. And the fact that the girls are up on the ridge, so as soon as the troopers start filing out after them, they're getting picked off. Like that's just awesome. But I thought it was a little too easy.
I mean, as is most stuff in this show. I mean, it just happens. You know, it is not satisfying per se. The only nice thing is that the people do miss a little bit more this episode, which means the hits feel more important. Because other previous episodes, it's been one shot, one hit, and you're like, okay. But Pedro, you know, this shot he misses, which is like good, okay. You know, takes a bit of skill then.
There's the moment where he hands him back his helmet and says, "You did what you had to do. Don't worry, I never saw your face." And then he looks away as he puts the helmet on. Like, I'm not dwelling on your face. Watch you put the helmet on.
Yeah.
That was such a great moment.
Yep. Yep. No, it's just like I said, Bill Burr steals this week, fundamentally, completely from the Mandalorian himself and everyone else, which you don't expect, you know. But yeah, I like that. I mean, I like the idea of the shootout, and it looks good visually. You know, I'm trying to build a practical set, but again, you know, two snipers. It's ducks in a barrel. It's a little bit easy, and especially the guy that grabs him through the leg. It's like, just shoot his leg. Like, what are you doing? I have no sympathy for your death, you stupid soldier.
And I wondered what those other troopers were called. The beige ones. They're called shore troopers. I didn't know that.
Then we have Slave One beautifully come out of the clouds. Just gorgeous model. And some good sniping, which is pretty fun. But again, it is like these guys are the most sitting ducks possible, so it's not quite tension filled. Like, they didn't quite successfully do that.
Yeah.
But then Slave One comes in looking phenomenal.
It does look good.
And then saves him in a way that only it can do. This very, very quick landing pad way, and that's an epic moment for sure, which you've never seen before. You know, it's good.
Yeah, you think that Slave One's kind of an awkward design, and the fact that it always has to rotate and stuff.
Which
it seems like a weird design, but they make it work for what it is, and it's really well done.
You can tell they're like fully committed to it, which would make sense because you've gone Boba Fett. You've got to commit to his ship.
Yeah. Sergeant Roadkill, 2 pounds.
Thank
that modern flat cannon is disappointing.
Yeah.
Modern ordnance, yeah.
It's just an AA gun. There's nothing good about it. But I mean, you know, hey, this episode feels more expensive. I'll take it.
Oh.
You know.
Well, then Mayfield's like, hand me that cycler rifle,
which is the
Boba
Fett Tusken one, I believe.
Yes, it is. Yes.
It's nice. You never see that fired.
Explodes the Rhydinium, and that of course takes out both transports and the entire base. So everybody's taken care of here. It's fine.
Although I appreciate it doesn't actually have to be the entire base, because it doesn't, like, you don't see that generic, you don't see that every time, every movie, one explosion, the whole thing crumbles and dies. No, it just blows up a portion. But there's obviously way more of the structure that hasn't been damaged. So it destroys the important stuff. He's not there to kill people, he's there to destroy the thing that will cause more death. You know, there isn't this
and that's when he says we all need to sleep at night. And even Cara Dune is like,
good shot.
She's like, huh. Like, she didn't expect that from him, and I think that's the tipping point for her to realize to say that she should be released.
And that was definitely, it was definitely choreographed, like, it was definitely set up earlier, but it was a good moment for sure.
That is such a nice shot you have on the screen right there of Slave One. I when I saw that, I threw that in my wallpaper folder because that's just a great shot. Looks so good.
And see, this episode just feels so much more expensive. Like, just feels so much more vibrant and real, you know. But guys, we are under a third of where we need to be super chat wise, and we're almost at the end. So that's pretty disappointing again this week. You guys did come out a lot last time or the time before. This week, a few of you are going a few, but super disappointing. So if we can get at least another $80 minimum, guys. I mean, otherwise, again, bit of a, you know, you guys haven't come out, but I mean, there's only so many of you, etc., etc. But guys, start putting your fives as always about this episode, or even some fun comments or questions or thoughts. Is necessary, guys. Oh, then the TIE Fighters, which was nice. You almost forgot about them, but didn't.
And we got company, and you think, okay, shit. He says, hang on, and then you see them getting thrown around inside Slave One. But then, yeah, he drops the seismic charge, and this is just such an awesome moment. Thum.
Yeah, and as a fan of that battle in the prequels especially, it's like such a satisfying, because, you know, clearly with the sequel trilogy, they avoided everything prequel. You know, all the fun moments they could have created, all the fun references, they just ignored like the plague. And so to see Slave One from the original trilogy fire the weapons of its prequel to show it still has them, when there's no evidence it had them, you know, it's a retcon obviously, but it's great. Because that's the whole point of last week. Mandalorian, Boba Fett had things to deal with people. You know, he has them, part of his kit. And so this is the perfect kit for the perfect thing. And yeah, it's a brilliant, you know, really good to see back. And it certainly gives me hope that they'll give even more love to Slave One, because it's such a good job.
Yeah. And Fleetpaw Swiftback, $2. If you're not, here Fleetpaw is. Thank you, Fleetpaw. I knew you'd be an hour late getting here, so that's cool. Oh. Good to see you.
Yeah. Did you enjoy this episode? Tell us. Because we did.
Dementia, $5. My thoughts in that scene. Oh, he's heading straight up. He is. Is he doing the thing? He's doing the thing.
Yeah, I was teased by it, and I was like, oh, because we love ship stuff.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and look how good that looks. That's just so good looking. You know, it just looks so great. Real in its own way. Gosh.
Sergeant Roadkill, 8 pounds. I'll round up as best I can. Gotta go, boys. All right, see you, Sergeant Roadkill.
Well, Sergeant Roadkill, give us a score out of 10 before you go.
Yes. Let's see here.
Oh God, Steve. Yeah, YouTube sucks, but that is weird. That is weird. Doesn't normally do that. It should always be your own time zone. Steve Major. Admins, just so you know, I joined late because YouTube was telling me this started at 10 p.m. my time. It is 6 p.m. here, possibly related to poor turnout. YouTube just is weird, honestly. And Sergeant Roadkill, hey, good for you. Thanks for letting us
know. I wonder if that's going to paint the slave one for the next episode.
Leave it looking tattered and fun.
The Sporkmeister, $5 in honor of the glory of that glorious sound. Oof, yes, absolutely.
I mean, honestly, though, if you're going to give a score just purely on the sonic detonator, whatever it's called, thing, I mean, that's got to be at least a 10 out of 10.
Seismic charge.
Seismic charge. Yeah. I mean, that's a 10 out of 10 scene and sound. Yeah. Oh, dear.
Yeah, but here, Mayfeld says, good luck getting your kid back. All right, officer, I'm ready to go back. And she's like, that was some nice shooting back there. He goes, oh, yeah, that wasn't part of the plan. Just getting some stuff off my chest. And she says to the Mandalorian, you know, it's too bad that Mayfeld didn't make it out back alive back there. What are you talking about? Yeah, it looked to me like prisoner number 34667, died in the refinery explosion on Morak. It's such a shame. Does that mean I can go? Because I will. And even Mandalorian gives him the head nod, get the hell out of here. Yeah, I thought the same thing. How the hell is he gonna get off this planet? You could at least give him a ride somewhere, but oh well.
Because I mean, especially since, like I say, he'll be super useful for next week. He's the only Imperial there who might know codes. That's why they brought him here. And I'm sure she could say, okay, fine, you're free. And he could say, well, what if I came with you guys and helped you again? Could you drop me off somewhere? They're like, yeah, fine. You know, it was such an obvious setup. You know.
Yeah. Kyle Wong puts in £5.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, sorry I'm late. Love the chat on Star Wars. Keep it up. Thank you so much.
And that does make a difference.
Joshua,
So thanks so much. Good to see you.
Yes. And Joshua Stearns, $2. Sometimes I can still hear Mayfield's voice.
He's saying kill them all, but only if they've called mass genocide and slaughter, which is more fair.
But it was nice to see him looking on as, Slave One takes off. And then we get Moff Gideon's ship, and it's, sir, you better see this. And I thought this was awesome because they did the recap at the beginning of the episode where he says the exact same thing to the Mandalorian on the planet the first time he runs into him. Exact same speech, word for word.
Oh, I
didn't something I want.
I didn't even watch that last time on, so I didn't even register.
You should, though, because it works. You have something I want. You may think you have some idea of what you are in possession of, but you do not. Soon he will be back with me. He means more to me than you will ever know. It's like using your own words against you, and in this context, dude, you better be worried because he cares about that little guy.
Yes. Although we are kind of left thinking, I mean, now you've warned him.
I know.
Like, you've only got Slave One. This is a light cruiser with TIE fighters, with an army of can't shoot stormtroopers, but an army of powerful droids and presumably force sensitive somebody as well who's now getting blood. So it's so I'm assuming the reason we didn't see Baby Yoda is just because he's now been blood transfusing all week, and therefore we're going to see somebody with force powers appear and fight them, I would assume, next week. But yeah, it's definitely a satisfying ending. But again, as I've felt continuously, Gideon is a poor character. He's not been set up. He's not got enough menace. He's not doing enough. And considering I watched the whole interview with the actor being really proud of in Star Wars, it's like, if you've watched all 8 episodes, he's had like 6 lines, maybe 10. His best episode was last week where he got 1 scene. Who the hell cares character, honestly? Like, he's not impressive. He's not a good character. He's a okay character. And so this scene, like, give us 5 more minutes. Show us him say, all right, set course to Tal 6-4, get the Empire troops, see him be commanding. He's a letdown of a character again. Every single time we see him, And since we didn't know how important he'd be in the first season, or at least we assumed, big crapshoot with this character. They've really let themselves down. Because they should just give him like 5 minutes each episode. Just cut back to the carrier, have him do something each week. So he better be really good next week, otherwise he's kind of like, what's her name? Phasma, like another Phasma. Like,
he's not that bad. He's already better than Phasma with the little we've seen him, so.
But barely. Like
barely.
Barely.
Area 51, $5 for the Mando Mondays and Cara Dune. Thank you very much.
Who was underused, but good in what she did.
Yes.
At least she was there.
All right, guys, it's time to put in your Super Chat scores. If you want me to read them, I will read them after we give our kind of reviews. For any Super Chat scores, if you want to just put the regular score in the chat, you can do that as well, and Sammy will read those. But any last comments, anything you want to help us out with Super Chat-wise would be great. We definitely read them all, so if you can, please do.
$50 if possible. We did kind of get a few more there, so 50 would be good.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, like I said, this is one of the better episodes for me. Bill Burr was great, and I didn't expect him to be so good. I mean, I liked his character the first time we saw him, but for a comedian to be that good, like, he was really good in his scenes. Like, he really, really was. So I really enjoyed that. That scene with him and the officer, so well done. It felt like they were having a discussion about one of the battles in Vietnam or something, somebody that was really affected by that.
But not
kind of had that
PTSD, though. It was different. It was a more like, I'm in control of my own destiny, fuck you guys, which was nice. It was nice to see the other side of it. Sorry, it was a good analogy.
Yeah. Cara Dune being back was great. Like I said, seeing Slave One, Boba Fett with the new painted armor and the black undergarments instead of the gray. So it's kind of a new look for Boba Fett. Even though Boba Fett was grossly underused in this episode, unfortunately. But seeing Slave One do its thing, seismic charge, got to give points for that right away. That's just awesome. And honestly, the transport was it's a cool vehicle, and it translated so well to screen. Like, it looks so good. It felt like a real piece of tech, and I love the big shocks and suspension that it had. It was very, very well done. And The only issue that I had was, I think the same as you, was the length of the battle on the back of the transport. A little bit overdone. That could have been cut down, and maybe more time made for Moff Gideon to, see him kind of in the middle of this might have been a good distraction.
Or they should have had more time in the cockpit setting up. Like, you hear the comm chatter of, we can't hold them back, send the TIE fighters. Like, have some build up so you hear the battles between the three different, like, other transports on the radio, and then, like, the tension's building, and then they come.
Yeah.
And it's
like, you could have moments in Slave One with Fett overhearing what's going on, and knowing that there's TIE fighters and stuff. So building up the tension. Yeah, building up the tension there as well, because the tension in that room in the mess hall was great, but there was no tension anywhere else, because as soon as the soldiers were coming out to follow them, they're getting sniped off. It's like, Slave One shows up. There's no tension really in the escape.
And it's sad because they were in very, very vulnerable paper mache armor.
Yes, they were.
Both. This is the only time in 2 years he's been vulnerable.
Yeah. Yes. So great episode for me. This one's going to have to get a 9 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed this one. It seems though that every time I watch Mandalorian, whenever I go to do my first reaction, I feel like the first words out of my mouth are, well, this is one of the best episodes of Mandalorian yet. It just seems like that's kind of the trope, and I feel kind of bad for that, but it's true. I mean, this put these together, watching them back to back is much better experience than watching them episodically, I think. But anyway, so yeah, that's my score.
Oh, so what was the score? Sorry, I've been in the chat.
9 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's your second favorite, joint third favorite of the season.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And then yay for the super chats. We're almost there. Another 15, 20, and we're up there. So you guys have been awesome. That's not very much. So yay. Like I said, the second best of the season. Pretty happily. It actually delivers what the promise of Mandalorian can be, which shows for me how weak the other ones were, especially episode 2. Like, who the hell cares? He gets lost in a cave. That's crap in comparison to this, And it's not even that this was about Boba Fett. He was barely in it. But just the presence and the use of universe was enough, So I think there's a lot. This balance should have been the entire season, Now we're finally here. Fine, we got here. And definitely says next week will be better. But also, like I say, you need a really strong secondary each time to help counterbalance Mando's lack of real personality this season. Last season was better. This season they really pulled back and giving you any moments, which is weird. This episode is a much better balance. And also, it actually felt like Star Wars. They used the universe, they used the worlds, they used more props and costumes. It felt way more integral. And again, comparing this to their base attack on the first planet, they went to where they just shot stormtroopers in a corridor. The night and day of that was boring as hell. This is exciting and well done. 2 episodes. Carl Weathers maybe just can't direct action. That's okay, but the difference is astounding in how one was done really well and one was just not done well at all. But obviously I've got the scores in front of me. I gave episode 1 I upped that last week. That was an 8.9. I still think that episode is probably better because it had a better story and more interesting character interaction. But this episode is not very far behind for different reasons. So I'm going to give this an 8.8. And obviously when we get to the next episode, the first one might then have to be a 9 just by, again, everything else kind of laying itself down. But 8.8, so not far off, And this one is definitely a season 1 level episode. I just wish Boba had more of an impact and was a bit more pragmatic. He did what he did very well, but he was the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. He has more to offer than sit in the car and wait.
That's funny. He's the getaway driver.
He's a getaway driver, yeah. So, yeah.
Zamir Patois says, not in a super chat, unfortunately. Well, you don't have to super chat to get your score out there. Nope. Just put it in the regular chat. I scrolled up to look to see if you'd said anything else, but I couldn't find it, Zamir. So just by all means, put it in the chat, the regular chat, and Samuel will read that in a second. I'm going to now read the super chats we got. Doug Adil puts in $20. Thank you very much. Awesome. So you think Slave One will replace the Razor Crest as the hero ship? Probably not. I hope not. I mean, it's a distinct possibility. If Boba Fett dies or whatever, I can see that taking over. But I don't want that. Honestly, I think it'd be better for him to just get a replacement for the Razor Crest. And I think it's going to happen. I want to say it's going to happen before season 3. Like, I don't know if there's going to be an amount of time between seasons 2 and 3, or if it's literally going to be a cliffhanger that's going to carry on right away. But I would like to see him get a replacement for the Razor Crest instead of Slave One, personally. Kyle Wong, £5. Love Mando's speech at the end. It's refreshing to see a positive fatherly role on screen. It's the exact same speech that Moff Gideon gave him, though, like in the last season at the shootout. Zamir Patois, oh, there, he put a super chat in of £2. Can't use the C word, want to say I love you, runts. Ah, see, you must be Australian. Or the C word's not a bad word over there. That's fine. So thank you very much. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. 10 out of 10 for Trekyards, 10 out of 10 for Boba. But what about the episode, Fleet Paw? Dementia, $5, 9 out of 10. It was a classic spaghetti western and felt like something out of a John Wayne movie. Great job. He took the whole western vibe from. It was very much like a. Oh, sorry, I faded out. What didn't you hear?
Old western vibe.
What was the last thing you heard? Yeah, I didn't get that for this. I got more of a World War II mission. This felt more like a World War II war movie to me than it did a western. I didn't get at all a western vibe.
And I'll be honest, I just think it felt like Star Wars. I wouldn't even say it felt like World War II. Just it felt like a Star Wars episode. Actually, I think it didn't have to pull from much. Everything was in universe and in the consistency of the universe. Yeah, definitely not western. No.
Zamir goes on to say 8 out of 10, and I am English. Oh, he's English using that word. Ooh, that's bad. At least he's not saying fanny. Tangerine Star 26, £2. Loved it. Each episode should be longer. Equals more story, 9 out of 10. I totally agree. Each episode needs 10 minutes more.
Literally.
At least.
Every time. I mean, Disney has unlimited money.
Yeah. And Scott Purdy says transporting TNT and nitroglycerin is very Western. Yes, that is a similarity with the stagecoach and trying not to have it explode. But
the fact is, he also still shot weapons, and once you forgot about it, you forgot about it until the end. A thermal detonator would have blown up regardless of it being full of explosives.
Yeah, exactly.
That had it was about destroying the chemicals in it, not them being explosive. So, yeah.
Tiburon, though, throws in $50 super chat. That is amazing. Thank you so much.
Wow, that takes us live to a whole new place.
Didn't get to catch this live, so I'll just catch up in a bit. I squeed when I first saw Fett's armor. 10 out of 10. Thank you very much, Tiburon. That is awesome. Thank you so much.
And I think I was definitely right that, once he got to tweak it, he didn't look as fat in it. Like, they didn't shoot him from the waist down much, but he fit better this week. Like, there was a conscious effort to make him look out of sorts last week and better this week, as he should do.
Yeah.
Then hadn't been in the armor in years, and I'm assuming the armor was readjusted for the other guy who's different body shape. So, yeah.
Yeah. Area 51 says, "Did anyone tell Han Solo that Boba Fett is back?" No.
Ooh, that's true.
I'm happy with well, I'm not happy. I'm probably getting divorced at this point. I don't know. No, he doesn't. Not yet. It's after Ben Solo goes nuts. I don't know. It's so sad what happens to the heroes.
Just because they wanted to fuck them over. There's no reason to do it. Didn't add any drama at all. But what would add drama, though, is 7 more likes. They'll hit 150. It makes an important thing.
Yes, hit the like button, guys.
Right, so that was the scores. Not that many Super Chat scores. Just lots of great Super Chats, which is awesome. Let's see what the public thought. So we got 9 and 8.8 respectively for you and me. Let's see what everyone else said. Scroll. Put in your scores, guys. 8 or 9 out of 10. 8.5, 9, 10 says Yeah, 9, 9.5, 9.6, 9, 9, 8, 9, 9, 7.5, 7, 9, 7.832798. Very precise. But, Paul, what would have made it 7.8328? Where would that 0.0002 have come from? If you had to say in the episode, what would have made it that much better? 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.75. So yeah, pretty consistent. I think we're all on the same, all on the same path there. But Stuart, not filler. They did something important here towards the main story. And probably not having Baby Yoda probably enhanced it quite drastically because they could be very like focused.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Zamir Patwa puts in £2. Stand-up comedians have always been great actors.
Always.
Generally. Sinbad. But yeah, a lot of them are for sure. And I got cut off again. God damn it. I don't know what you heard and what you didn't hear, so.
Not all of them are.
Yeah, well, perfect example would be Sinbad. Good actor. It's debatable. But a lot of them are for sure. Tyler Lester puts in $2, 150 likes. Yes. Hashtag made Fleet Pop hay. That was an amazing freeze frame. I'm sure it was.
Well, like I said before we started, you know, he is the sex appeal. So any freeze frame is like, oh, you're lucky to get that. It's kind of slow-mo Stuart, but 0 frames a second. So Stuart, tell the audience what we're doing the rest of the week. I
don't know. We are doing things. We're having some videos coming out, and maybe we'll do a live tomorrow. Of course we will. I don't know on what. What are we doing a live on tomorrow? Oh yes, I know what we're doing a live on tomorrow. It's a Star Wars one. I mean a Star Trek one.
I lead you right in, and you fumble it as bad as a classic Death Star attack run, which isn't done by Luke. It just gets blowed up and fails.
Fumble it like. Anyway,
like the
yeah. So tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow we are having a live talking about is Carl a Q or a Guardian of Forever type deal. That should be a good one. And then on Wednesday, of course, we're doing our prediction videos for the next episode of Discovery, and then Thursday, my first reaction. Then Friday, you know the routine, you know the drill by now. And next Monday will be the last Mandalorian Monday. We will do a retrospective on the season 2, though, I think, at some point, which will be a drinking one. I'm not sure when with the holidays. It's all kind of crammed in there. So, Discovery and stuff. There's going to be a little bit of shifting as far as when reviews are happening, but just stay tuned and we'll let you know what's going on.
But we'll definitely do we'll do one drunk something in between Christmas and New Year so that anyone's at home wants to celebrate can get boozy with us. So that'll be like a nice bonus one. We'll make time for that, and then we'll probably in January, at least one in January as well. So we'll see, and do expect obviously an epic end of Discovery when that comes in January, and then guys, February and then in January the ships come back, classic ships and guests. We've been filming guests. We've got all sorts of cool stuff. The nightmare / pleasure of this constant review cycle will be finally over. Oh no, it's over. We'll wish we had it after a few weeks, and we'll be happy we don't have it after a few weeks.
Exactly. Dementia though throws in $5. Will you guys do a video on Moff Gideon's Pimp Quinton ship? I mean, I think a few ships need to be covered over before the end of February. I wouldn't mind doing one on the Razor Crest. May she rest in peace.
Pieces.
We should probably do one on the
pieces.
Should probably do one on the Razor Quest at least. As for Moff Gideon's ship, I don't know.
I mean that's a very standard ship. Like it's
might do a mission briefing, just discussion on it, not a real episode. But
yeah, because I mean until we see anything of it, it's just a standard light cruiser, and they it depends. I'll be wondering if I can get a model of it. So I know it appears in Battlefront. I mean, we'll see. I mean, Star Wars never gets us too many views.
You should be able to get them. You can get the 3D printable ones. So I don't know if you can use those.
Well,
but
yeah, but if they're not as detailed, then when we start analyzing it, we'll be like, we can't be.
Oh, some of them are really detailed for the 3D prints, though. I would check it out anyway. Look into it.
The game ones are useful though because they're obviously licensed ones, etc.
Yeah.
So. But no Razor Crest yet, which is sad because it'd be fun to see that fly. And I can have an animation with it flying into the Firefly and be like, "Hello, cousin. Hello." All right,
brother from another mother.
Yeah. But on that note, well done to Dementia. On the last super chat, thanks guys. We did hit a much better goal. We were about 2/3 of what we need, but I mean that's still better than nothing. And we got a good amount of likes. So thanks. 50 was really helped. So thank you so much for that. And of course, yeah, tune in for more stuff coming soon. Thanks for joining in, and hopefully next week's Mandalorian you will come out in the storm, because they do certainly put more money in the epic end. So hopefully you guys will come back for that.
Yes. So until then, guys, he's Moff cocking.
He's Grand Admiral Foley. Yay.
Grand Admiral. Grand Dadmiral? Is that what you said?
No. Well, it'd be great Grand Admiral, wouldn't it? If it was.
Sure.
Yeah, because Grand Moff, so to be a grandfather, you have to be a great Grand Admiral.
On that note, bye guys.
Bye.
See you soon.